And so to sort of now get to where TourRadar came from, we realized that, first of all, the name was very hard to tell. So people were like, bug bitten, blah, blah, blah. So we were like, okay, let's find something that's a bit more literal. It's the same in every language. We found the domain. So TourRadar was kind of the name we came with.
Hello everyone and welcome to this third episode of the Travel Outlier podcast, and today it's a super exciting episode because we have somebody very special. We just had a small conversation about the fact that he built a super cool company, a big company, I would say already maybe too old to consider it a startup, maybe already too big to be considered a scale up. So it's an established company, a successful company, but not boring, and which is very, very amazing. So we have here Travis Pittman, founder and CEO of TourRadar.
Thanks a lot. It's fantastic having you here in the TourRadar office in Vienna. Sun's shining, and thanks a lot for coming. I'm looking forward to it.
I'm super happy to have you on, Travis. And so we didn't have yet the occasion to chat much, but I've been working a lot with your team, and what I have seen up to date is this. Everybody's so happy to work with you. It's incredible. Okay, so I was like, I want to do a podcast with these guys. So finally I'm here in Vienna. I came on purpose. I traveled 7 hours by car.
I'm impressed that you did that. Yeah. So, and you're still looking very awake and normal, so it's all good.
Love caffeine.
Yeah, very good. Well, Red Bull, you're in Austria, so you know.
Exactly. So before to go, let's say in the business part, I wanted to get to know you more in terms of who is Travis at heart. Who is Travis before TourRadar, and what is like the moments. It's a very funny name, this one, because somehow there is something we're going to speak about, which is let's say part of the brand. But what is the moments that defined you as a traveler, and then make you decide to go this direction in a professional way?
It's a pretty long and deep question to try and answer that exactly, but I think to summarize, I'm from Cairns, North Queensland, Australia. So for those who don't know, it's the Great Barrier Reef. If you go there, you want to see obviously all the lovely wildlife and everything there. And so it's a long way from Europe. And I left university in 2000 basically, and moved over to Europe in 2004. Lived in London, and I can safely say that travel has changed my life in every possible way. Like, you know, I think it's really hard to quantify what it's actually done, because it's everything from my personal life, my work life, you know, what I've built, the relationships, the friends, the things I've seen. You know, it's really difficult to actually try and pinpoint what it's changed. But I can tell you now, at the heart, I still am who I am, but my eyes have been opened up unbelievably of what this world is about, what people are about, what cultures are about. And that's literally from firsthand experiences of living abroad as well. I think it's not just traveling. When you're an expat, you've got to go through a lot of shit to actually establish yourself, get set up, bank accounts, flats, you know, get a job, all these different things. You're pushed outside your comfort zone every day, and that sort of helps you evolve as a person. But then it's the additional layer on top of that of the traveling experiences, which just, I think you're completely naive to without actually experiencing these things. I do talk about this fairly often, but there's one traveling experience that I did where I'd broken up with my girlfriend after 4 or 5 years. We moved to London together. So then was just like, all right, I'm going to go do a bit of solo travel. And I went through Germany, Czech, ended up in Poland, and kind of did all this on my own, went to hostels and just had the most amazing experiences meeting people, realizing how ridiculous it is that I only speak one language. Like, so that was actually a massive eye opener for me, because Europeans, you obviously speak maybe 2, 3, 4 languages. Yeah. I stayed in a hostel room where there was literally like 12 people, and I was the only one who didn't speak 3 languages. Like, everyone else spoke 3. So I think those experiences open your eyes. And it was from there I went to Poland, and I had the most magical crossing the border experience in the morning at 7 a.m., not knowing if I'm going to get a bus or a train. I had to walk and I had a big backpack, and came across this guy in a truck that was literally from the war, like times. It was rusted out, changing a tire, and he didn't speak a word of English, and I obviously he's speaking Polish, and I was just like, how do I get from here? And he's like, oh, and he just pulls out like a hip flask and just forces me to drink like a schnapps or something, or vodka or something like that.
Sounds so funny.
Yeah. And I was just, and he was such a big guy, like just so crazy. And I was like, okay, I'll just drink that and then help you change this tire.
Somehow they may look like a bit rude in the way that they are speaking to you, but actually they're extremely kind and friendly at the end, right?
Exactly. So that was just one, but it's one of many experiences that definitely formed, I guess, being comfortable outside my comfort zone. Like, I think the more you do it, the more comfortable you get in those type of experiences. And so yeah, I definitely would never have imagined that I'd be sitting in Vienna with a family, with a business, having the most amazing team, having the opportunities to travel the world, do all these things. Like I pinch myself often. Yeah, for sure.
All of this because one day you decided to go.
Yep.
And all of that was like the beginning of all the trips and what like shaped you as a person as well. And I see a lot of like common traits with a lot of people that are in travel with passion, and they created company then after. And somehow, in my more older to say, I have the same kind of experience. I'm the son of immigrants in Italy. I'm coming from Albania, so I was already bilingual when I was a kid. And so when I got to travel by myself, I was like, wow. It's so refreshing that people is thinking in different ways. So there is not only one way of living, which in Italy is very like boxed, especially in like small places. So it was really eye-opening, and that defined my personality. The fact that there is no actually limits. There is like a lot of cultures, and it's such a big pity to stay in one box and don't see what the world is doing out there. And here it comes instead the question that is going more to your professional part. I'm a founder myself, and I can say for sure that there is like a moment that is triggering, like, okay, the world needs what I have in my head. When was the moment in which you realized that the world needed TourRadar?
Yeah, there's a bit of a predecessor story that I need to tell to answer that question. So when I left Australia, so in 2003 it was, I was fascinated by the internet. I learned how to code HTML, built websites. I built my mum's bed and breakfast website, got her ranked on #1 for Cairns bed and breakfast. She got all of her business through it. So I'd kind of always been passionate about the web. I also was passionate about sharing my travels. And so photos, I had a digital camera before anyone else really did. And so before I left, I set up a website called aussiesineurope.com. And it was just like a domain that I created. I learned how to create and upload photos to that website from my digital camera. Got to London, used it, shared it with all my friends. And they were like, how do you do that? Like, I want to do that too, because nothing existed then. It was basically Flickr was the only thing that existed back then.
Wow.
Facebook wasn't around, nothing. And so I was there, and I kept going out, meeting friends, traveling, showing them this. And then eventually one day I was at a pub in, I think it was Fulham, like in London, like one of the suburbs. And I had like 6 people ask me, how do you do that? Can you make this for me? Can you do me a website? I want to share my photos too. Because this is the age of dial-up. Like this was not, there's no broadband or whatever else. So sending photos was really hard back then. And basically so I went down and tried to figure out how could I do this at scale. My brother was there with me. So we were in London together and we basically came up with a concept which was called bug bitten. So to be bitten by the travel bug. And it was a photo sharing travel journal website. So
what year was that?
2004.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so literally 21 years ago.
I was 14.
Yeah, there you go. So been around for a little while now. But and so that was the genesis of community, user-generated content, sharing, travel online. How do you actually, I guess, bring something that hasn't been done before online and then spread the word. And so we had parties, we had communities in London, like all the Aussies, Kiwis, South Africans would all come to parties. Biggest one that I had was like 600 people that we had at a party. So yeah, like, you know, Sean and then a bunch of mates, we all organized it, and it's just fun. And then we realized though we couldn't make any money out of this because no one wanted to pay for banner ads, or no one knew what a banner ad or a CPC or anything like that. And so yeah, that led, fast forward basically, that we saw a lot of content being tagged as people going on tours, because we knew people were going on a Kentucky tour, we knew people were going on an African safari, and we knew the companies that were offering those. And we also went to the travel agents, got the brochures, and then inputted all of those tour names so people could tag them. And that was the earliest version of tagging, which is kind of what we're going to talk about moments in the future. But that's where we were capturing content at a very granular level that no one else had. And I walked into Kentucky, which is one of the global brands of touring, and said, we've got 100,000 photos of yours. Do you want to put banner ads? And so when a mate back in Australia views this, they're going, I want to do that too. They looked at us and said, why are people uploading photos to the internet? That was literally the answer from the global marketing manager at the time. And then they said, can we delete it? We don't want our brand associated with photos we can't control. Like, so that was literally, so wow. And so we were like gone from, oh, we're going to get like a, you know, deal that's going to pay for all our bills, nothing. And so to sort of now get to where TourRadar came from, we realized that, first of all, the name was very hard to tell. So people were like, bug bitten, blah, blah, blah. So we were like, okay, let's find something that's a bit more literal. It's the same in every language. We found the domain. So TourRadar was kind of the name we came with. And it was during this time where we actually had booked a sailing trip to Croatia. Like, so I booked a bareboat charter, you know, where you hire the boat, you bring 10 friends and you turn up. And I did it all, you know, Sean wired the money across, and then basically turned up in Trieste. All of us flew in there. No transfer, couldn't call the company. It was an American-based company. There was no answer on the phone because it was the middle of the night there. Nothing. So we're like, oh, well, geez, is our whole holiday ruined? We got an overnight bus down to Zadar. We eventually found the provider, but I was panicking that we had just transferred $5,000. We put our whole hopes and dreams on this holiday, and there was no recourse to the provider. There was no trust. There was no way. I was like, is our money gone? Because it was a wire transfer at the time.
No standards at all, so you don't know how to behave. Yeah,
nothing. And so thankfully they turned up. But that was, if you think of what we had or learned, it was 24/7 customer support. That's something that we do, you know, as a base. That we payments, everything's protected. You can pay with a credit card. You can obviously use your local payment method. That's something we've changed. Vetting the suppliers, reviews, you know, all the different things that you know, and knowing who you're traveling with is obviously key. Being able to communicate with them through the messaging system we have. So all those things were kind of what led to where TourRadar is today, but obviously took a lot longer than I expected. You know, back in 2004, I think Sean and I were like, oh yeah, you know, we'll be gone. We'll sell to Yahoo in 2 years, and it'll be all fine.
In 2 years,
yeah. So, but obviously, it hasn't happened. But that's fine. I mean, I've learned so much, and obviously built an amazing team of people. And it's we're actually having an alumni event soon, so it'd be cool to sort of bring people back who've, you know, at one point or another worked at TourRadar. To have a nice party as well. So
wow, it's a very interesting story, and I see the correlation between everything that you did to came where you are today and to what you're actually doing with Moments and the rest of the initiatives that we will talk about. Yeah. I see that somehow you had the experience of, like, let's say literally, let's talk about the idea of UGC, okay? Yeah. The user-generated content. When you talk about UGC in 2025, people is like, oh yeah, it's a new way of doing content, which is like made from people. New way. Guys, are you serious? It's like in the 90s, there were the blogs and they were UGC. Correct. And then there was the reviews and then the photos, and Instagram in 2012 was UGC as well, right? So it's changing, of course, the way that people want to receive the information, the type of content. There is a lot of changes compared to the past. So now the question is, why Moments? What is changing in travel to decide to go into an idea where video is central, where the user that is actually living that experience is central, and not just like a old style advertising where you're just selling and it's visible that you're selling. Feel free to take it as large as possible, because you have a lot of background from this point of view. So I want to see your perspective of somebody that saw build everything based on information and let's say visuals, and then you evolve these visuals and you became what is TourRadar Moments today, which I would love you to speak about, where we are also partners. And that's a very large question, but
it is. No, I'm trying to think how best to answer, but there is a lot of different ways to sort of tackle that. So I think at the to try and explain where we've come from and what we've had to pioneer is there was none of this data as from a tour operator. So just to sort of come back to selling online, tour operators didn't have APIs, didn't have XML feeds, didn't have kind of anything that was structured really. And so we had to, there's actually a photo of me sitting there. We went to the travel agent and pulled out a stack of brochures this high from every tour operator from Flight Centre or whatever it was. We keyed it in. We had students in London keying in that content in a structured way. Tour names, where they visited, all these different things. We then stumbled across that actually quite a few of the bigger brands had XML files, but they didn't know why. They didn't have it for the reason that I wanted it for. They had it because they produced it to send a file across the globe to get brochures printed. And the brochure printers used XML files to have the information imported to what they needed to print. And I was like, that's structured data. We need that. Can you give that to me? And so that's how we actually started to build up the structured data of things and then educate them on what is an API. On all these things. So
I'm just thinking of the fact that sometimes we're struggling because we don't have a lot of data scientists to do things. But when I think about how you guys did stuff, it's like, whew, we shouldn't complain. We have a lot of things today.
AI now, they can just go off and do everything, structure it, whatever else. But and so think about in 2005, we were getting reviews as well. We started to get people writing reviews of the tours after they said they booked this, or they actually have photos from this tour. We actually asked them, hey, was this a good tour to go on? Then Google started to rank us, because we were, if you typed in G Adventures reviews or Kentucky reviews, we were number one. Because we were UGC in its rarest form when TripAdvisor was also starting to obviously take off and be there. So that's where so the form of UGC was text and it was reviews. We had photos, but there was no real way to sort of display that directly against structured products that could be booked. And so fast forward to, you mentioned Instagram, 2012, that was where video started to finally take off in earnest. We tried at Bugbitten to integrate video players, and Vimeo was sort of starting back then, and there was other ones, and it was a nightmare, as you can imagine. It was
super hard at that time.
And internet speeds were too slow as well.
Correct.
So it just wasn't there. And so if you think about what Instagram helped, and YouTube obviously as well, there was a big change in that in video. Our itineraries we sell are typically 8 days long. They can be 14, 21, even, quite a lot longer. How can we expect one photo or one text review or one 2,000 word itinerary to be the best way to sell that product? People today are visual, sorry to say it, but people don't have long attention spans anymore. The quicker you can get that message across, the better. And that fast forward to video and shorts, so you see now YouTube shorts, reels, all these things is what people are consuming on a daily basis. It's ubiquitous across our society now. And as we're seeing, more and more people are starting their travel discovery through these reels and through the algorithms that TikTok and Insta are actually doing, and YouTube Shorts. So we believe that that's the future of travel discovery. And because of all of those things I talked about, of the structured content, of structuring the tour content and actually making everything attached and tagged to individual tours, reducing that point of time from discovery to being able to book being 2 taps now on through Moments. That's what we feel is the future, because and Moments is not going to be a worse version of Instagram or a worse version of we're not trying to compete as a social network.
It's something different. Yeah,
it's something different, but we're trying to work out, because social commerce is coming more and more. We're seeing in the East, it's coming more and more, and there will be a point where they will also, like in our own app, allow us to have structured content to be attached to structured to videos or UGC to be booked as well. And we're really positioning ourselves to be at the forefront of that, because as we're seeing, LLMs are changing the world in how we access data, how we get answers to our questions, and that's changing how traffic is generated for publishers, website owners, bloggers, whoever it may be. And that's where we really feel that the future now is, how do you just nail video, so the moment side of it, and at the end of the day, our product is experiential. Like it's bucket list stuff. Like it's the cool stuff. It's the really stuff you want to do when you go traveling. It's not, here's my seat on my plane, or here's my 3-star hotel room in Venice or whatever. No one wants to film that. They want to film them climbing up Kilimanjaro, or they want to be, going down the Nile in Egypt, or that's the stuff they want to share. And that's our product. That's what we sell.
It's what basically makes people, saying, wow, I want to do this.
Yeah.
And it's pretty interesting, the fact that we have extremely similar stories in terms of, how we started. Because I also started collecting content from people that were representing trips.
Nice.
And the way that was born Blinkoo was while I was traveling Asia. I had this long trip in few months in Asia after selling, let's say, shares of the previous company, and I was free for a while with some money behind to be chill. And then I discovered that every time that I was making a choice, it was because I was watching videos about the destination, the experiences. I was like, wait 1 second, there is not a platform for this.
Yeah.
Right? So I focused on that. I, built the platform, I got investors, I got the team on board, and we got a lot of traction. People were like, whoa, super cool, I can organize my trip super fast. But then we were lacking something that you guys instead realized pretty fast, which is the last part of the experience before to travel, which is booking and managing that part. And there is a very funny story about this. Even Airbnb, for a long time at the beginning, they were thinking that they are a social network, because they are just giving, every person, crowdsourcing their houses is kind of a social network, right? When then realized,
do you think it was a social network, or do you think it was community? Or do you think, or is there a difference there between social network and community? Do you think, or
I think a community can be not on a social network necessarily. Yeah, social network is like a tool where communities can be built, but the community could be just across the street, right? Without even technology, right? So so we somehow you did this jump of becoming that technology provider for all of these companies that are even struggling sometimes to do things themselves. And it's beautiful, the fact that an operator doesn't even need a website to be able to sell online amazingly like the other ones are doing through TourRadar, right? We never did this jump. We never became the travel company. When we saw what it takes today to become a travel company, we were like, we already invested 5 million. What do we do, guys?
and so it's true. It's not an easy leap to make.
And therefore we decided then we were like, okay, videos are actually selling. They are convincing people. They are what people wanted before to decide what to do and all this stuff. So instead of becoming us a travel company, why don't we go to the ones that are already having an amazing funnel and bring them the videos to see if they're interested in that? And it happened after a few years. We invested a lot of money, a lot of time, almost 4 years of work in fully B2C. It was super hard, super hard. We made some money, right? But you could see, you as a founder, you understand what is scalable and what is not scalable, what takes too much time and too much money. So we're like, okay, better go to the B2B side and let's see what happens. And we realized that the coolest companies in the world are going in this direction. So they're like, yes, let's go, let's do this. And what happened with you guys, it was this. You were the fastest company to understand and adopt our services. Like, the fastest company, because you were like, you knew everything already. And we were like, what is going on? Why they, and then we realized you're building a full app with a video scroll that, somehow recalls what is Instagram or maybe TikTok or maybe YouTube, but with specific features that then bring you to book the specific trip, right? So of course, you have to be careful in terms of branding to don't be associated to a social video app, because it's something different, right? And the moment that you as a user, use this platform is different. It's a different kind of moment. It's not just pure entertainment or because you're bored, right? But the direction is absolutely clear. And the main reason why is good to do that, I would call it even neuro marketing, neuro product marketing somehow. It's like, think about this: 500 hours a year is what people spend as an average in front of videos.
Is it?
It's crazy.
That's
it's like
crazy,
more than an hour a day, far more than an hour a day, right? And in travel websites, people spend about 10 hours a year, right? So in terms of like experience, even if you go in the UX world, right? If you see what Webflow is doing, a lot of like UI design platforms and all this stuff, they're going through like animations that look like videos somehow, because they are very fluid and people is used to more and more to see things in this way. So you guys are going definitely in the right direction. Now I would like to go to a question which is more related to the kind of content that works today in a podcast. It was, I think, Focusrite. Yes, you say a word that it's very beautiful, which is raw authentic. And in Blinkoo, we're using this word every day right now.
Okay,
somehow,
cool, good. I didn't know I was one of the first to say it, but it was just something that when I was being interviewed, or even beforehand, I think we were talking about it in the team, and it came up. So cool, great that everyone's using it. So,
that's inspired us. Like, okay, yes, this represents what we're actually doing here. It's like somehow we wish you met you before, because probably today we'll be much more ahead in what we're doing in general. But entrepreneurship is like this. You just take like 10 times longer, like 10 times longer than you.
It's definitely not linear. It's like this. Yeah.
Absolutely. And so what is for you today, like the kind of content that inspire travelers and make a difference? What is content that is trusted today?
Yeah, it's where the I guess the genesis of the word are authentic, and I'm definitely not going to claim ownership of that or anything, but it's more that we're just seeing on especially Instagram more so. It's just, you see the memes or whatever, Instagram versus reality or whatever it is, and especially in travel, it's so chalk and cheese sometimes of what is truly reality and what has just been made out to look like it's absolutely amazing. And we have a really broad spectrum of products on the site. So we have 50,000 adventures. Our demographic that we cater to, it's everything. Like, so it's 18, we have families as well, but we have 18 through to 85, 90, people traveling. And we have a lot of 50 plus Americans traveling with us as well. They're not used to or don't know how to film an Instagram style video, or of course they're going to be filming like this instead of like that, so and that's what I mean is that when people, so if a 60-year-old American couple sitting there going, what should I do, and then they see videos filmed by people like them, they're going to feel more inclined to, okay, it feels, there's probably a subconscious like attachment to it, saying, okay, I kind of assimilate to this, so this type of product is for me. Whereas if they see like a 19-year-old perfectionist influencer filming something, whatever, they're going to look at it and go, that's rubbish, they don't want to do that type of trip. And of course that filters out also who takes different trips from what they film and what they do. But where we felt was really needed was a mixture of professional content, so people who know what they're doing, uploading great content that is either informative or really beautiful, but also kind of just the stuff that is real. Like, so, and I think that's what we're looking for, a real mixture. Sometimes we don't get exactly what we want, like, we'll get cat videos and stuff like that have been uploaded to moments, and of course they're not getting through the moderation or anything like that, but it really is more of, if it's somehow useful, of if someone films walking into the Sistine Chapel and it's not done perfectly and the lighting's not great, but it shows what they see. And maybe it's a selfie then of them, as a couple or as a group or whatever else. It shows what that experience is like. And that's what we're trying to highlight here.
I love just what you just said. And now I would like to ask you what is RISE. But before that, I have the last question, which is related to what you just said about, let's say, authenticity. Okay. In general, in Blinkoo, we try to somehow bring as much, authenticity as possible in terms of like the content that then we provide to the companies. Mm-hmm. Many people may think that we are like a agency doing videos. It's absolutely not like this. Yeah. We are a platform, and videos coming are, let's say, completely, decided by the people that is traveling. Yeah. It's there is for sure some influencers, but it's mostly travelers or creators that are not doing that as a full-time, job and all this stuff. Yeah. And the videos are like authentic, and sometimes the videos can be ugly, compared to videos that are super set up, right? And most of the times that companies have no experience in that, they're like, oh yeah, but I like videos a little bit more like this and like this. And then you check the description, that's a video stock. So just go to a stock platform and buy that if you believe that it's going to work, right? Somehow. But we are seeing like very, very fast, a lot of even smaller companies realizing that what works today is what is working on social media, which is not the perfect thing. Not anymore, at least. It's not 2015, it's not even 2020 anymore, right? So
I really feel that TikTok has just helped change that.
Yes, that was a big wave that changed everything. And I was a TikToker myself. I got 1 million followers.
Seriously?
In Poland, speaking in Polish without knowing the language.
What?
Yes. I know it sounds crazy, but
were you changing a tire on the side of the road, drinking a schnapps or something as well?
I was doing something, also related to the culture, so people feel more connected with me. But mostly it was related to my culture, which is the Italian one. Yeah. My ex-girlfriend was breaking spaghetti in front of me. I was getting mad, so I was going super viral, and I was saying a couple of words in Polish, But the most funny part, it was walking on the street, people stopping me and asking me in Polish, saying to me, oh, I saw that video, it was super good in Polish. And I was like, I'm sorry, I don't speak Polish. That's not true. I saw a lot of videos you speak Polish. I was just mimicking.
So you can't go to Poland. You're like a celebrity there now.
In Warsaw, it's okay because they're used to people that are popular. It's normal. Everybody lives there. Yeah. But if you go to smaller towns, it's intense, okay. Photos, selfies and stuff.
That's funny. Yeah, very cool.
So somehow I also learn very fast myself. So I got this wave of authenticity like immediately when it was starting with TikTok, because I started in 2019 with that TikTok, right? So, and I brought this in Blinkoo, and Blinkoo became, more, let's say, almost anti-influencer somehow, It's not like the perfect things, it's the real things, but actually that today work better as marketing assets. And for sure, Blinkoo is not for like super big companies that are doing everything themselves. Like TourRadar is basically doing everything themselves. We can, of course, help to accelerate, but then the ones that can really benefit from that is like the companies that maybe don't even have a marketing team, So for them, it's like super hard to even think of like, they go to the agency and they present like a 30,000 euros project and they're like, what?
Very much, yeah.
Exactly. So the last question, and I'll go to Rise, is how do we save authenticity with these incredible AI-generated videos that are coming that look extremely real? They are also getting into travel right now. And so the question is, what do you think about AI-generated videos? Will they take the place of the authentic ones? And if not, what did we do to, stop that somehow?
Yeah, I mean, it's what VO3 is doing now is definitely changing the game for sure. And we're definitely seeing the wave of the Yetis and the Bigfoots and all that stuff sort of. And I think because it's not relatable, like, so it's unique, we're okay with it and we're like, this is amazing. But our team, we had an AI hackathon recently, and some of the team tried to create some stuff, and it's not easy to get consistency and whatever, but that's going to improve obviously. So my thoughts on it are, that's why stuff like what you guys are doing, moments that we're trying to show, are even more critical now to sort of differentiate from what could just be made to look absolutely amazing through AI in 3 prompts or whatever else, and then published, and to what actually is completely real that people can attach to, and from a storytelling point of view, and from even attaching themselves to the people in the video in some way. I would love to think there's some way, and I don't know how it's going to happen because it's getting so damn good.
Yes.
Is there, and this is a stupid way of looking at it, but is there some sort of fingerprinting that you can know that this is either AI or is it authentic? And so when you're viewing it, you can kind of just completely rule it out. Or there's like a must that if it's on a bookable product, that it has to be somehow authentic or verified that this is real, whatever it is, if it's a product photo or if it's a video or whatever. Is there a standard like that that's going to have to come through so you're not being false advertised to or something like that? I don't know. I'm just sort of dynamically thinking about this. There's got to be a way to differentiate in the future because it's getting so damn good.
Yes, and there is something triggering me when I see the products hauled by AI influencers, saying how good it is for their skin, and they don't exist. Like people say how good is the pizza that they just had, and they are not people; they are prompts. Let's say, right? So it's. I think it's there is people that don't generally care.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Okay, and for them it's totally fine, and probably they are not our users from a certain degree, I would say.
Yeah.
But the reason I believe that somehow it's going to be a big movement one day about again real content is because when you need to buy something or do something where the human experience is like relevant somehow, you want a human to tell that. That's like what I deeply think inside myself, even though I am actually scared about what's going on there. And we have all the opportunity to use all the data. We have a lot of data, obviously, to train the AI and to create perfect videos. But we're like, should we, are we these ones? We are gonna do that seriously, And so this is like we're trying to understand if there is like a middle way, and probably there is a middle way in which you improve the videos of the real experience, and that's like a completely different game, I would say.
That's different, I think. But and I think what we're seeing now is this wave of even AI influencers, like as you mentioned, like so literally they are completely fake. It's a person. I think one of them was at the Wimbledon, like the blonde girl at Wimbledon or whatever else.
Yeah.
Complete fake. It ended up with millions of followers or whatever else. And how often is that going to happen? It's going to happen way more in the future. So I think there's definitely going to be it's going to be a challenge though. I think there's not going to be an easy answer to it.
I also think that somehow the world didn't understand yet what is followers and what is like actual business. There is a lot of creators having a lot of traction, a lot of likes, a lot of views, but then when they promote something, it's not getting sold. So maybe the photo of the AI influencer is going to become viral because it's like something very realistic and impressive. But at the end, will you buy what that profile is saying to you somehow? So it's like that's the line that we will see in the future. What is gonna actually happen? All right, now I want to talk about this is a big day, right? I came here on purpose. I was supposed to come after a few days, but then today was like somehow a great day, and Rafa was so excited about it. So I'd love to to hear from you exactly what it is and how this is going to impact, I would say, the industry in general, and who is going to be impacted from this, because we are also in the first line somehow to be part of it with Blinkoo, with all the community of people that is like uploading content and all this stuff. So I'd like to hear the story of Rise. No,
first of all, amazing you could come actually on the day. I mean, you've seen it's pretty chaotic, just trying to get everything out there, but we're live now, so can breathe a sigh of relief and now start to actually see how it goes. And Rise is a $1 million fund that's dedicated for partners. So, and when we say that, partners can be a traveler, a creator, a guide, an advisor, or a travel agent. And so basically people who can actually spread the word, not just about TourRadar, but just about organized adventure, travel, and actually get more people taking these adventures. And I think that's we spend lots of money on all the ad platforms, so Google, Meta, everything out there. I would rather give people that money, and it's not going to be all because you need to stay obviously advertising in the main platforms, but how do we over time use people to scale the business? And that's where with Rise you can earn through content, like with TourRadar moments, uploading those. You can share affiliate links. You can actually make bookings as a side hustle. So if you always get asked by your friends, hey, can you research my trip to Europe or whatever it is, you can actually earn $300 if you book a tour. And you're just doing what you do anyway for free at the moment. So what we're really trying to do is empower anyone. Our own team can actually do it as well. TourRadar team, anyone can actually, if they have a following, if they want to send out links, they can actually get paid for that. But also, we want people to be sent on free trips where we can. We also work with 2,500 tour operators. Those tour operators have amazing products that just don't really get the exposure that they should. They don't have amazing content created about them. So how do we get those creators to go on those trips, make the amazing content, be able to share that with us, share it onto their socials, whatever it may be, work with tourism boards as well. Tourism boards, DMOs, they want this more authentic type side of things. They just don't know how to get that at scale.
Absolutely.
So there's
100%.
basically, it's a few different things that we're trying to tackle here. We've probably bitten off more than we can chew. We're trying to do it, but we're just throwing ourselves headfirst into it. If you look at other examples of other platforms over the last 5-10 years, Amazon, Shopify, Airbnb even, they have scaled through third parties, through an ecosystem.
100%.
And so we've been building our ecosystem since COVID. We built out B2B. We enabled the ability for OTAs to connect to us. We enabled the ability for travel agents to sign up and sell. And so this is the next phase of that, to enable effectively an army of ambassadors out there to be pushing this product out there to get more people to know about it through the amazing content that they create. So yeah.
It's an amazing way to make the content creation and being rewarded for that much more fluid somehow, because it is actually complicated, somehow. And when you can do something just because you know how to do it, and not because you have a contract for doing that, it becomes much more fluid somehow. And there is a lot of money in marketing. In travel, the most of the money is spent for the communication. Unfortunately, maybe, but that's the pure reality. So there is a big budget there, and $1 million fund for that is it's a big message. I mean, TourRadar is not making 10 billion in revenue. So this is
we're not.
very big commitment, and I'm really, really impressed and excited. And I would love to receive maybe a few special words about a specific target that is also inside this initiative, which is the people actually bringing around the groups, because I believe it's very special people. They are super charismatic, super engaging. They already do nice content. They take care of people. They are I would say the special angels of the industry. Unfortunately, to make the trips being affordable for people, this is not a high-paying job somehow, and therefore I believe that this is a huge opportunity for them, because they have an amount of content up there which is making nothing, that now maybe can make something which is probably even more than they actually earning as a full-time job in that case, right?
Exactly. And this is what we've had what we call Guide of the Year program, because exactly what you're saying, that the unsung heroes, it really is something that they need to be put more of on a sort of stage. We feel that this could be a way for them to monetize that, because if you take the coach touring guides, they're taking 50 people at a time, and they do that probably 5, 6 times, 7 times, 10 times in a season. They're doing that for 4 or 5 seasons. They probably have WhatsApp groups with literally 2,000 people or whatever it is. And so, yes, they've been capturing the content. Why not be sharing it with us? They can actually be, if they want the side hustle, when in the off season from summer, they could actually be booking that product for people. There's hosted trips as well. They could be doing outside in a different version. But yeah, I completely agree. The guides are a big part. Rafa on our team obviously is very passionate about this side of it. So yeah, we've built a guide tipping functionality as well, where they can actually get tips through Apple Pay and whatever else. So they're a definite key part of our ecosystem, and Rise is definitely helping, hopefully, them actually monetize that a little bit more as well.
Well, it's been like, I would say 12, 13 years that you are getting that right. So I guess that it's going to happen again. And we will follow as well with Blinkoo, and maybe we'll have the opportunity as well, because now the content that is coming from Blinkoo to TourRadar, it's tagged as just Blinkoo in the app, because it was faster to get it started, but would be lovely to see the name of the people, right?
Correct, yeah.
Every single person. And technologically speaking, everything is possible. If you guys did this from XMLs that were built for printing, I think we can do it. Okay, we can do it.
I'm very sure we can. And that's what I mean. If it's a native upload in Moments, you can do it. So I'm sure technically they can. I just have to talk to the product and engineering team to see if it's possible. But and obviously, thanks for the partnership. It's been really cool to see the amazing content you've got that helped us really launch Moments in the way that we could. And Rise is the next part of that. So thanks a lot for coming. Really appreciate it.
Amazing. Thanks a lot for being here. Actually, I am in your place, but you are in my podcast.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Very good.
It was really cool. Thanks again for your experience. I hope it's going to inspire a lot of other people, and even like founders that, in the meantime, travel or non-travel founders are maybe, struggling during their years, and you could see that it's just a long journey. And resilience is probably one of the biggest, elements to, survive all of this.
I literally say resilience and persistence. If you don't have that, don't try to be an entrepreneur. And you build it up over time, obviously, but it is the single most important attribute, to survive what you need to survive. Yeah. So
thanks for your experience, Travis. It has been extremely inspiring, and we're gonna see you at the next one.